Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. What's your name?
Casey.
Casey. I'm Samantha Schwallenberg. I'm going to be working with you today. What I first wanted to just kind of let you know is that I am a master's level student at the University of Georgia. I wanted to let you know that because I'll be working with you, I'm not a full-fledged counselor at this time, but I have had a lot of experience and I do feel confident in trying to help you in any way that I possibly can. Second thing that we need to kind of cover as well is confidentiality. What you say to me in the session is between me and you, but there are some limitations in that. I do have to speak with a supervisor and staff with them monthly about what's going on in your case. It's not anything beyond these walls. It won't be said unless you want to discuss your own case. That's on you. Another limitation would be if you report any kind of elder abuse, child abuse, any kind of, if you're going to harm yourself or anyone else. I am a mandated reporter and I do have to disclose this to other people or the appropriate authorities. Are you okay with everything that I just said to you?
Yeah, sure.
No questions or anything?
No, I don't think so.
No questions, okay. Other than that, that's pretty much where I am with everything. So, what brings you in to me today?
Well, I've just been kind of having some issues with my weight and I'm trying to get on track with that. It's kind of affected a lot of areas of my life lately. I just needed someone to talk to about that issue in my life.
Gotcha. What the goals that I kind of want to just kind of let you know that we're going to work together to certain places. Like I'm not going to give you, from these sessions, I'm not going to give you the easy answer, like the advice answer. That I feel like that kind of simplifies your problem, and that's not what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want us to work together to a common goal, and that's really what I want to let you know up front, because there are some other cases where they want an answer right away, and we're gonna work together to an answer.
Okay, that's good.
So you're telling me about weight, and it sounds like that stresses you out. Can you tell me more about the situation? What problems you're facing?
Well, really, I just feel kind of left out. I just started college, and I feel like all the girls are so skinny and pretty, and I don't feel that way. So really, I've just been eating more and gaining weight, and it's hard on me personally. I just don't know how to control that.
Has it disrupted any things in your life? Like has it impacted the way you go about school?
Yeah, definitely. It's so hard to focus on school when I'm so worried about my weight and how I look that day. And if I'm pretty compared to the other girls, it's really hard to measure up to them,
Right.
So it's hard. Yeah, it definitely affects school.
And do you see any other, like, with your family, how have you communicated with your family about?
I don't tell them really anything. We're not that close, so it's hard to talk to anybody about it. And that's why I figured I'd come to somebody to talk to. I don't want anyone else to know, even though they know I've gained like 1 million pounds lately. It's just they don't know why,
Right. Okay. Are you looking for a way to lose weight at this point?
Yeah,
or are you looking?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know you're not like a nutritionist, but somehow I'd like to not think about food all the time. Like I think it might be a problem, I don't know why I'm having this issue, so I would like some help. Maybe there's some underlying thing that makes me eat all the time. What do you think would be my problem,
Like I said before, I'm not gonna tell you what your problem is, but I do want to discover it with you, because I feel like that's the most effective way, because you're an expert in your own situation. So you told me that you're at school, it's your first year, and you've been recently struggling with weight. Is this a new thing, or is it something that's been happening?
I've always struggled with weight, and it's kind of like I never can be just happy with how much I weigh. So it's hard to get a hold of it and like grasp my weight. Yeah, I've always weighed like a lot more than I think I should. Even when I weighed like 90 pounds, I still thought I was like
Wow.
really overweight. Yeah.
Wow. And like, now, how far are you from home? Was school?
About 5 hours.
You're 5 hours away?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you decided to come here, and do you feel like things have just gotten worse since you've moved away from home, or
Yeah. I don't have any friends really at this new
Okay.
college, and it's hard to find friends, you know, when you're that big, like, it's hard.
Have people like, do people comment?
Yeah, I mean, I hear them talking about me, like people that knew me before, and I gained like so much weight over the past like 2 months. Like, wow, did you see her? Like, she's so big now, and it's hard. Like, I used to be that skinny girl, you know, and now I don't feel like pretty, you know.
What year are you in school?
I'm freshman. Like, I just got to college
Okay.
2 months ago, and so now, looking back from when I got there to now, I've gained so much weight. Like, yeah.
It sounds like that's really been hard on you.
Mm-hmm.
And weight is always, it's a difficult issue, I think, for women everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me more about, you're telling me that you just decided you just eat a lot. It's your way of dealing with stress. Is that right?
Yeah, it's definitely makes me feel better about myself, even though I know it's making me fatter, and like that's why I'm upset. It just helps me at the time, you know, and I just eat a bunch of Doritos and I feel so much better after, you know, it makes me feel so much better about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it relieves stress, and yeah, it's hard to eat healthy things because that doesn't make me feel better,
Right.
You know,
Right. Can you tell me about the situations that make you stressed out?
Well, mainly school, and I don't feel like I fit in with any group of friends, and I mean, yeah, it's always been my go-to when I don't feel like I fit in. So now when I'm in college, it's definitely turned into my go-to, just to make me feel better,
Right.
you know, make me feel like I have something to belong to, you know, food. I can control that, and I can eat whatever I want, you know.
Right. Is there now is fitting in? Would you say that fitting in is the biggest stressor that you have at this point?
Yeah, in school.
In school.
It kind of goes hand in hand, you know. I think if I had friends, maybe I could focus on school more.
Okay.
I feel better about myself, you know.
Right. Would you say that with the whole, you're telling me that, you know, when you're stressed out, that's when you eat and you overeat, and it tends to be school, and the fact that you don't have a lot of friends here at school. What ways, like, do you think that you aren't, like, I'm trying to word this the right way, but in what ways, when this feeling happens, like, walk me through the last time that you felt this, the compulsion.
It was yesterday. Yeah, I got back from a test. I bombed that test. And, yeah, I walked in my kitchen and I said, I'm gonna eat everything in here. And I mean, I went to the fridge and opened it. Everything looked good. So I ate like 3 candy bars. Then I went and got like a bowl of cereal and like a bunch of chips and soda, and drank every single, like I drank the whole liter, you know. And then I said, wow, why did I do that? Like, you know, then I felt like, oh, so gross after, but it felt so good while I was eating it.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, you felt like you bombed the test,
Mm-hmm.
and then you came home, and then what feeling did you have? Like, I need to eat, or that's how you felt?
Yeah. I mean, I need to do something to make me feel better.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was my food, you know, and soda.
Okay, and you feel like this problem has gotten worse since you left home?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when I don't have my friends that I actually did care about me when I was skinny, and, you know, they're not here to help me out. So I try to find other friends, and they think I'm fat, I'm sure, so I don't try to be friends with them, you know. Who wants to be friends with the big girl, you know? The big girl who, you know, is just ugly compared to all the other pretty, skinny girls, you know. I just feel like I shouldn't try to fit in, you know.
You don't feel okay. And then at home, you felt more. Now, was that the biggest difference? Was that you had friends at home? And
Yeah,
here
yeah.
you don't perceive yourself as having that many friends. And
Yeah.
so it's easier
hard.
for you. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't try to make friends here because I'm already like, yeah, I have my own friends at home. Yeah, I don't need friends here.
And you were, earlier in the session, you were saying that your friends at home were the ones that were talking about you. Is that right? Can you talk about that?
The friends I made here that I'm not friends with anymore, I heard them talking about me. So I just don't try to make friends now here. I don't need them. I have my friends at home. Yeah.
Can you tell me about the situation that you heard them? Like what situation was that?
Well, I was walking into class and my friends that I thought were my friends, I heard them like snickering behind me. They're like, "Oh my gosh, she's gained like 10 pounds in 2 weeks. Like, what's wrong with her?" And I knew they were talking about me. I'm sure they were. I mean,
So you didn't hear your name or anything?
no, I just knew it was me.
You
You
just assumed
know,
it was
you
you.
got that feeling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is hard. I felt like, yeah, it was definitely directed at me.
Now, do you have friends at home? Like, you have friends at home, you said. Now, has anything happened with them? Or are you still able to contact them, call them?
Yeah, they're my friends. I just don't want to bug them, call them while I'm over here and they have their own lives, I stay to myself. I like being by myself now. And it's hard sometimes. I'm lonely, but I figured it helps just to not talk to anybody because who wants to talk to the big fat girl, Yeah.
So if you were to, in an ideal world, if you can change different things in your situation, what things would you change? What would make your world ideal?
I would look like Heidi Klum,
Okay.
Yeah, I would be a Victoria's Secret angel. I would be so skinny and look like every other girl at school. I would just be really skinny, and then I'd have friends. If I looked good. So maybe I'd feel good if I had friends and was skinny and tan, and all those things. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would change in your ideal world besides the way you look?
No, not really.
No.
I mean, yeah. I'm fine the way I am. Well, now I'm not fine the way I am, but that's all that matters is how it looked to me, Because I used to be happy when I was skinny back home. So.
Now, what is the biggest thing about being skinny that changes your whole perception on life?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just, you see Heidi Klum and everybody loves her. They all want to be her. She's so skinny and then maybe I'd have friends if I was like that. Because that's what the ideal girl is, and that's how America looks at girls. No one thinks, "Ooh, she's so fat. I want to be her." Like, So why would I want to be like that?
Right. So what I'm getting from this is that your weight situation has caused you a lot of stress, and you feel that because you've gained weight, you don't have friends here, or you don't perceive that you have friends here, and you don't want to burden the people that you used to be friends with at home, and so now this has caused you even more stress.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you've just eaten more and more because of the stress of not having that same friend support that you did at home.
Yeah. That's definitely sounds like right on point. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you were able to make friends and still be the same size, how would you feel?
Oh, I don't think I can make friends if I'm this size. I need to definitely lose like 20 pounds at least before I can start being confident, making friends, and I'm not going to make friends looking like this. Let's be honest here.
Right. And have you, like, if you had walk me through first and foremost. Walk me through a day in the life of you. Like, tell me how do you start your day? How do you end it? Do you just I want to know if you just go home. How does everything? Just walk me through your whole day.
Well, I wake up about 12 noon. I've been skipping my first class pretty much every day just to.
Was there a reason why?
Yeah, I just don't want to go.
Okay.
I'm embarrassed by my weight, and you don't have to go. It's not mandatory. So I just kind of catch up after, maybe see what I can do. But I don't go to class. Yeah, and then after I wake up, I kind of eat some. Hi, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
I'm Robbie.
Robbie? Okay, I'm Casey, and I'll be working with you today. I am a student in my Master's of Social Work program at UGA, so I just want to let you know that. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Just to cover a little bit of confidentiality stuff that we have to cover at the beginning. Anything that you say will be only to us, but I will have to report any incidents of elder abuse, child abuse, harm to yourself or another person, and also I am a mandated reporter, which basically means that any of that stuff, if it is going on, I will have to report. But other than that, it will be staying between us. Because I am a student, I do have to report to my supervisor.
Okay.
So do you have any issues with any of that? Or
No, that's fine.
okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, what are your expectations coming into today?
I just wanted to kind of talk about some issues that I've been having with some relationships and things like that. So I just wanted someone to talk with about some of those kinds of things, I guess.
Okay, all right. And is that the only thing that brought you in today? Relationship issues?
I guess, yeah, that's the thing I'm just kind of dealing with right now. So.
Okay, awesome. So, how long have these issues been going on?
Past couple of months, I guess, yeah.
Okay. And is this a romantic relationship or
Mhm.
other relationships? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how long have y'all been romantically dating?
I had been dating this girl for like 4.5 months, and then things started getting kind of bumpy, and there were some issues, and
Mm-hmm.
there was just a lot of problems kind of going on in the relationship. Wasn't quite sure how to deal with them.
Okay. What kind of issues are there?
Just a lot of like miscommunication, a lot of issues in understanding each other, and it's kind of caused a lot of fights, and it's caused a lot of issues with her thinking that I think one thing and me thinking that she thinks something else, and it's not the case, and we find out later, and then it's caused a lot of issues with feelings, because then feelings get hurt, and she thinks it's just a big mess, really.
Okay. Well, so you said you've been dating 4.5 months, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Exclusively?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what are some examples of the communication conflicts that y'all are having right now?
Gosh, the biggest one, I mean, we had some things while we were together, we just broke up. So when we were together, there were just little miscommunications, nothing really serious.
Mhm.
But then, because we never really dealt with how to deal with those, we kind of just played it off as like, oh, haha, and we just kind of laughed some things off. But when it got to more serious issues, we didn't know how to talk with each other. And I know if she ever heard me say this, she'd be like, I'm blaming her for everything. But
Mhm.
it kind of started with her having some issues, and she just didn't know how to talk with me about them.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of just dealt with them on their own, and she did what she thought was best, and she just decided to kind of break things off because she just didn't know how to talk to me about it. And I kind of found out later that she, that all of what had been going on in her head was that I don't know how to deal with this, I don't know how to deal with this, maybe if I just let things go, all of the problems will go away.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it sounds like her, maybe a defense mechanism is not to talk about things, is that right?
It's possible. I mean, I guess I hadn't thought of it like that. I just figured that either she didn't want to talk about it, or she just didn't know how to say it, but she just wouldn't say anything, and then it would fester, and it would get worse, and then by the time it was sort of fixable, I guess, so many other things had happened. Like, there was the initial problem, we didn't talk about it, and because we didn't talk about it, so many other little things festered up.
Mm-hmm.
And so we may have now fixed the original problem, but we can't go and fix all the little things after that because it started getting personal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so are you more of a person who likes to talk about your feelings, initially get all that stuff sorted out? Or how do you go about your communicating?
I generally I like to try and just get things out in the open. I think that it's better to feel heard about it now and just get it all taken care of. I'm a fixer. I'm not one of those people that just likes to bottle up their emotions and just let things fester. I really just want to get it fixed.
Yes.
I don't know. I hate conflict. I really
Okay.
do. And so it's just difficult sometimes because I like to be a people pleaser. I can't stand it when she's mad at me or when I'm mad at her or anything else like that. But I just want to get things fixed like as soon as possible, and that's really tough when she just doesn't talk.
Okay. So if she did open up more to you, you know how to fix the problem to prevent other things from building up. Is that right?
Well, maybe not necessarily we'd be able to fix them, but we at least have a clear idea of how to work together to fix what's going on, or to better understand what the problem was.
Okay.
And that was what was the problem, was that we weren't talking about the problem.
Just
If that
kind of ignore
makes
it,
sense.
and maybe it'll go away if you ignore it, kind of thing.
Sort of, I guess. I'm guessing that was what her thought process was. It's just, it was just a really big, complicated mess.
Well, you said that y'all did break up, but you are here to talk about it. So does that mean that you see yourselves getting back together? Are you trying to work on it? Or how does that stand right now?
At this point, I guess, I feel like I'm over it, but I'm kind of not. It's just, I've talked things out with her, and we've resolved things to a point to where we're not speaking right now. We're not going to be in any more communication for a while, just because it's kept her on the hook, and I've been so hurt from some of the things that have been said and done, and her likewise. But I'm to the point to where I can't deal with it anymore. Like, if I'm going to heal and I know that we're not going to get back together, I've been needing my space. But I guess kind of the reason I'm talking to you about this is that I'm really tired of not. I mean, because this is the second relationship this has happened in, and so it's knowing, one, how to express myself better, but also being able to get her to be more comfortable and kind of being able to work with her to explain her issues so that we can have better, open, honest communication. I feel like being able to get her to talk is something that I don't really know how to do, because girls are like, y'all are like a little mysterious black box.
Okay, fair enough. Well, so it sounds like you have strengths in your communication that you could work with her. You know, it's not like you've given up completely, and maybe if you talk to her about your communication style, I mean, that might help things. Have you talked about it before, how your communication styles differ?
I mean, through long story short, she broke up with me first. I tried to fix things. Things got back together, and then the lack of communication fell off on her part again. And I felt like I was just trying, and she saw it from another point of view. She saw it as she had a long week of tests. She needed some time to do stuff for school, because we were both in school at that point. And, and she just needed some personal space. But since she didn't communicate that to me, it's just like she just fallen off the bandwagon again. And so, I mean, part of it, I guess, I kind of want to learn how to approach her on the communication thing, but it's also just like, I feel like retrospect is real, or in hindsight, I guess, is very 2020, but it's not as easy when you're in the moment and you've got emotions flaring and you're frustrated and you're tired and you're angry and all these other kinds of things. It's like how to deal with proper communication even in the midst of some of those kinds of things.
So do you feel like these communication problems happen because of stressors? Were there ever times where y'all communicated easily, you know, or is it because of the stress that you start to have these communication problems?
I mean, a lot of it was like stressors, things going on. She was going to be in school for another year. I was going to be done with school, at least our bachelor's degree, and I was going to be off doing my master's, and so we were going to be separated for a little while. And that was a big stressor, and she just kind of let that fester, and she just didn't talk about it. And so I would definitely say it was a lot of stressors.
Mm-hmm.
Our communication, I think, was a lot better even during the good times, but then something would come up. It may not have necessarily been a stressor, but it may have been something that just was maybe something frustrated happened during the day, and I wanted to encourage her, and she just wanted to vent. And so it was just like she wanted one thing, I was giving her another thing, or vice versa for something if I had been stressed out or something. And just even little things like that started to just get to us. And so.
Okay. Well, it sounds like the communication issue is the biggest part, right? What were some of the good parts of the relationship that, I'm sure there were good things too.
Yeah, I mean, we had really good chemistry. We worked well together. She was just a really cool, fun girl to be around. She had a great smile. I mean, just overall, she was just a really good, decent person and a fun person to be friends with and be around. But just the communication was such an issue, and I think part of it, now that I'm looking back on things, is we were never really friends before we dated, and so we didn't really know how to handle each other.
Okay.
When things got tough, or like when just knowing how the other person operates. Like, I know how my best friend thinks. Like, you put me in any situation with him, I know how he's gonna react. But with her, it was just like, I didn't know. It was like a mystery. It was just kind of like, oh, let's find out something new today. But then sometimes that was just really frustrating because I didn't know how she would react to things. So it kind of changed what I might say. And I think maybe the same thing had happened for her, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so do you think in other relationships that friendship is important first? Is that how that's taught you now? That
I mean, I definitely. But I just think just the communication is such an issue because I don't know how else to describe it. It's been really frustrating because I feel like things are going well, and then all of a sudden I get blindsided by an issue. Like, I feel like I'm really good with saying, hey, here's a problem with something. But I don't know if it's just been a couple of girls that I've dated or whatever, but every time a problem comes up, if I don't know there's a problem and she does, it's like it's swept under the rug, and then all of a sudden it blows up in my face later. Whereas if I'm the one that sees a problem and she does or doesn't, I'll bring it up, and I feel like it gets addressed. Even if she doesn't necessarily see it, I feel like anytime, I don't know, like, I feel like when I bring up problems, even if she doesn't see it, she's willing to work with me on it. If she does see it, she's glad I brought it up and like took charge of things. But when I don't see things and it's an issue and it doesn't get brought up, I feel like I just get kind of blindsided, and I don't feel like that's fair to me. But then I don't want to victimize myself either. I just want to kind of like learn how to talk better.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like that's frustrating to you, that you don't see the problem and then all of a sudden it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you would like for it just to be addressed at the beginning, get it out of the way, and then there's not a problem, but it blows up into all these little problems kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, even if it doesn't get fixed, we both know that it is an issue and we're actively working to fix it or to minimize it or just deal with it. I know not every problem can be solved. And so even if we, can't necessarily just fix it, at least we've addressed it, we've dealt with it, and we're coping with it. That's better than just pretending it's non-existing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, maybe she feels that it might offend you or make you upset bringing up an issue, but it sounds to me like you would rather just be honest and deal with it than to just hide it away, even if it hurts your feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for her and what she wanted. That was the hardest part. I wish I could say I knew what she wanted, but as for me, yeah, definitely I would say it's been frustrating, but I want to get it out of the way, just deal with it, because the longer it sits, and this is something I've noticed with my parents too, is the better the communication we have is when there's something that irritates me or my mom or my dad, we bring it up to the other one that is the offender.
So you've learned that communication style from your parents.
I mean, I had a lot of issues with my dad for a long time and arguing about things, but we would just let things fester and it would just blow up in our faces. And then as soon as we started dealing with it when it happened, we didn't let things fester. We had a much better relationship. We got to be a lot more open and honest with each other.
Mhm.
I've learned so much about him over the last couple of years because of it. But
Okay.
I feel like I'm having trouble translating that into dating relationships because, like, my dad's been my dad for my whole life, but I don't know some of these girls quite like that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just been frustrating, I guess.
Oh yeah, it definitely sounds frustrating to you, and I mean, at least you have something to kind of model.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well.
Good, good. My name is Robbie. What's your name?
My name is Samantha.
Samantha, it's so nice to meet you. I'm going to be working with you today. Just wanted to cover a few things before we kind of get into this session. Just wanted to let you know that I am a master's student right now. I'm working on getting my master's of social work at the University of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So I am a student. And then, did you have any kind of problem with working with a student, or is that an issue?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then just before we get too much further, I also want to cover some confidentiality issues and things. Anything that you say stays with me.
Mhm.
So you can have complete confidence that I will hold everything that we say in this room completely confident. There are just a few exceptions to that. Because of me being a student, I do have to discuss my cases every now and then with my supervisor. I report and get supervision from my supervisor, and then I also am a mandated reporter. So if there are any issues with you wanting to harm yourself or fear of harming others, child abuse, elder abuse, any sort of neglect, anything, I do have to report that as well. So I just wanted to let you know about that ahead of time. Do you have any kind of questions about that?
No, I don't have that's fine.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure we have all that covered. So what brings you in today?
Well, I honestly just went through a really difficult breakup. Well, I didn't just go through it, but I keep reliving it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I just want to kind of get over it and move on with my life, and I feel like this relationship's holding me back from having other relationships now.
Okay.
So that's why I'm here.
Okay. So can you tell me a little bit more about the situation? What kind of happened? How long ago was this?
I broke up with a guy probably like maybe 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
And it was a difficult situation. You know, we were together for 2.5-3 years, and we were on and off at the time, but he played pro ball, and that was really difficult for me because of the fact that he was always it was a lot of different people in and out of my relationship. It was the first time I could honestly say in my life like that I was truly in love with someone, and they really like took me through the mills. I mean, I felt all different kinds of emotions, and yeah.
Okay. So it was a long relationship. You said about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You said it's been about, has it been 2 or 3 years since this occurred? Is that what you said as well?
Mhm.
So this has been weighing on you pretty heavily since then.
I mean, I've been able to be in other relationships. Like I've had 2 since that one. But I just don't connect or attach like I did in that one. That one I like was all the way in, like, you know, very much emotionally in that relationship. And then like these other 2 was just like I go in it, I get out of it, like I don't care, you know. Either way, I just don't care. Like
Okay.
I just leave the relationship, you know. Okay, it's been fun, bye, and it'd be like a year relationship, and you know that's not fair to the people that I'm with, and I want to get over it. I want to get over the past because I'm over the relationship. I'm over everything that happened I'm over being with him, but I don't know if I'm over what happened to me and all. Like I always in my mind, I've always wanted him to like say I'm sorry, like apologize, like make me feel like everything that I ever experienced in his relation, like it wasn't just for vain. Like it wasn't just that he could just leave and have another relationship, functional relationship with someone else. You know?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's just I don't know I want to be over it. Like, I want to be able to have a functional relationship with someone else and just be over it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine it's pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
Not being able to right now. Can you tell me a little bit more? You said that there was a difference in the emotional connection between that first very long relationship and your current, more current relationships. Can you tell me a little bit more about the original relationship and why that was so different with your emotions?
Well, it was the first relationship I got into when I got to college. I was like 19 years old, and then we were together until I was 22.
Okay.
So that was most of my college experience. Is like it was like my first love, you know. And we got together. He played at Georgia, and like it was fun at the time, you know. Like I loved sports. I loved, you know, the whole different. I don't know. Got to go to games. Got to watch practices. Got to experience this life, you know, and got to get free stuff all the time. And low key, never supposed to, but you know what? He would be. It was fun. It was really fun, and I fell for him fast, but I was young, so I feel like immaturity played a role.
Okay.
And then things got real. He was here at UGA. I was at Berry College, and then I transferred to UGA later on, but. Like it was hard. I mean, it was a hard long distance. I ended up finding out about other girls. Yeah, all through. I love him. He lied to me, and then when I got to UGA, like I started getting, you know, messages, threats from other women, and then I think I got physically sick twice, and that's when I found out I had Stevens-Johnson syndrome, where like. I had an allergic reaction to medication, and it lowered my immune system so much that my whole body just shut down. I had like thrush, I had all these different things going on, and literally it looked like I put my hands on a stove, and I had 3rd-degree burns all over my hands. My skin ate up my hand, like my skin was coming off my hands, everything, and I had to go to the hospital, everything like that. He was in the area and didn't see me once. I was in the hospital, and I mean, I did everything for this guy. You know what I'm saying? But people die from Stevens-Johnson syndrome. That's the reality. People die, and he didn't even, you know, he didn't care at all. You know, like I felt like it was a slap in my face, and now that I look back, I feel like maybe it was just him. Maybe it was just him. Maybe it was just he loved me, but he was not mature enough to show it. I can't believe the stuff. I went through a lot of different things I don't know if I should even discuss, but it's just like, I went through a lot, you know, and then to invest so much and then to walk away the next day and just decide, you know what, forget it, it's over, bye. You know, it's hard for me.
So tell me a little bit more about the timeline. You said you'd been in the hospital and he didn't come.
No, he didn't.
It sounds like you were a little bit confused about why he didn't come, but also it sounds like angry as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, he was I was in the hospital. I couldn't I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything for myself. And there was a club that was by my house. And he drove past my house to go to the club, but your girlfriend's in the hospital. Like, you didn't even think to stop by the house to see if I was alive, you know? No, he drove past my house, went to the club, and then was like, oh, we're on our way back, and told me when he got back to UGA. But 316, you drive on 316, you drive back 316, and you didn't even stop, you didn't even think to stop and see if I'm alive, I'm breathing, you know? It was just, the way he did things it just wasn't right. I mean, not to someone you supposedly love, you know.
Yeah.
It's messed up, and I haven't gotten over it. I haven't gotten over, you know, the stuff that he did to me.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't gotten over that. Like, I don't even know how to describe, like, you know, I've been through a lot of different kinds of relationships. Like, you know, when I was in high school, I dealt with like domestic, you know, like a guy that put his hands on me multiple times. You know what I'm saying? I see my mom go through that, and then, you know, when I first, like around this time, like, and then after, during that relationship, at that time, I had experienced sexual assault towards the breakup. So like I was going through so much. Like I'm out of the hospital, and then I go through sexual assault. Like it was crazy. I mean, it was a rough time. I just was angry.
Yeah. So I'm hearing a lot of different things from you. Just to make sure that I understand everything that's going on. There, you had this really long-term relationship. It sounds like you said you had been at Barry, then you came to Georgia, so there's a little bit of some long distance in there.
Yeah.
And then you came, there's a lot of things that you've been going through between the sexual assault and all the things potentially with your mom on your mind, and then the hospitalization, and then with him not being able to show that he cared, that was another stressor on you as well, and that's what you feel has caused some of these issues.
I don't know where to even begin with what's caused what. All I know is, like, that's why I'm here, because I have no idea, like, where to even begin. You know, there's different levels. I think what I feel the most is, like, when I'm going through these kind of things, like, you didn't even care. Like, you didn't care at all. And that to me, makes me not want to care for anyone else. Because if I cared so deeply for someone, and then they loved me like he said he did, and then you could just, like, see me go through stuff like that, and not even do anything to I don't know, to even be there for me, like, no support. So I felt like, you know, I'm in this by myself. Like, this is all about me, you know, like, forget every other relationship, forget every other dude, they're all the same. Like, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm not a saint by any stretch of the imagination, but like how it was done in that relationship, like, has really changed my perspective on men, relationships, even me potentially even getting married one day.
Oh. So this has had quite a few implications for you. So you said that you weren't sure quite where to start. It seems like there's been quite a few issues that have come up. Sounds like part of it is getting over the relationship. It sounds like there might be another issue of trust, some trust for future relationships. So I guess I would ask, what do you think is the most pressing issue that you would want to solve first or work on first?
I mean, the reason why I'm here is to be able to have a functional relationship. That's what I want. That's my number one thing. That's why I'm here.
I feel like that's a really good goal. So just to clarify a few things, what are some of your expectations for our sessions kind of going forward from here?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what because I haven't been able to figure it out myself. You know what I'm saying? I've done this for so long. I still have not figured out myself where do I even begin? I guess it's really where I want to, like, figure out my feelings, and, like, because I never spoke with anybody about the sexual assault. I never spoke with anybody. I've just started to talk about how I experienced that when I was young, but, like, I've never really sat down and, like, talked about any of it. I just kind of dealt with it and moved on. Like, yeah.
Okay.
So.
So what would you feel most comfortable? You said stuff about the sexual assault, some of those other issues. Where would you feel comfortable trying to explore some of those and talk about a few of those?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine with it now. Yeah.
Okay. Where would you feel most comfortable starting?
Well, where do you want to start? I mean, where do you want to start?
This is helping you, so it's all up to you where you would feel most comfortable starting.
I mean, you know about the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, we can talk about. I guess I did bring up the sexual assault. I can talk about that, what happened there. I mean, well, I can even talk
Would it
about.
help to continue talking and exploring more about the relationship and
We
some
can.
issues there?
We can.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and tell me a little bit more about how y'all met, or just so we can kind of begin to understand more about maybe what has caused some of the issues by looking into what the relationship was like?
We met